Right. Let's take it nice and slow, guys. Let's raise up protections. We're going to do a nice inhale, exhale. Claiming your body, claiming your space. Claiming what we're going to have for dinner. I'm kidding. I'm partially kidding. Na okurias mana autora, shana yakiana yakriana o yakarajasna akiyama taburiashana ukura sotoya. I'm going to go ahead and just start running light down through your structure, through the apex of the tree. Actually, this is presenting as an emerald tree of life. Every branch, every apple on the tree illuminate as emerald and dings with crystalline sound, tone, frequency, expanding the field into pure bliss. The crystalline chimes of the fruits of the tree begin to open areas of stiffness, 360 degrees, predominantly coming from behind us, actually, in this case, which is just allowing the movement of weight to move from back to front. Hidden to being seen. Nice, slow inhale, exhale. We're just being very conscious with how the information is moving through the field, because with the foundational fields triggered, we've got a whole bunch of electrostatic frequency that's tied into artificial intelligence systems that we want to neutralize. And with that, we've got to be very slow, very gentle, peaceful, and just observing of it, really. Because lots of this is all tied into high thresholds of pain that we've buried behind us, that's also impacting the nervous system, impacting storylines from childhood, and then going into abuse models that have kind of been suppressed and shut down. And with the sound tone chimes of the emerald apple of the emerald tree, give us the activation to bring harmony into these pathways and loop through into the fractured layers of the central nervous system. running light, running liquid emerald tones, liquid emerald crystal light tones into the field where it's stuck and holding a lot of pain. And we're just going to blend that in to the discomfort. Just starting to move the pain through the heart, throat area, which is creating a kind of consciousness shutdown of the awareness. So we want to kind of just be breathing into that. Putting in safety. And what I'm actually seeing within this location is a Pegasus being immersed in emerald in amethyst light that's bound by a serpent here. Okay, Diamos Mana Okura. I'm just being also drawn to the star constellation or the star of Andromedy, that's within, I believe, within the Andromeda constellation as well, that's next to the Pegasus constellation. And as we're observing the light coming in, just unbinding the serpent from the Pegasus and neutralizing the pain thresholds that are coming up around this consciousness, around this imagery. Deep heart decompression. Streamlines of opalescent auroric plasma moving into the Pegasus. And opening out the field. Where we've started to unlock the artificial frequency that's interlocking through the restriction of the Pegasi consciousness, which would all fundamentally be representations of the Holy Father and the Cosmic Father frequency that had been kind of impacted by this running down all levels of the masculine. And the Anunnaki subdivisions within that, the Yamasmana Okuriyata Ashna Ahian. seeing chunks of cube like grey matter that was interlocked within this constellation, just lifting up in front of us now and just starting to ray the solar light through it. And this begins to dissolve the matter, dissolve the grey matter that's presenting as hard concrete, which I feel like is pain upon pain interlocked within the memory of the masculine that the yamas mana okuriyata ashna ahia. Allowing it through sight to break down and move freely. Okay, and what I'm kind of seeing within this is kind of like artificial inserts that warp the mind, that warp the male consciousness or the masculine consciousness to kind of invert and then attack itself and attack others and the feminine. This is what was kind of put in place there as a kind of mind control MK Ultra kind of thing, if you will. And just seeing this being pulled at either end and unraveling like untying a shoelace. The amethyst dragon expanding outwards. And layers of the consciousness rebuilding into what looks like the face of the dragon. But really, it's more than that. There are degrees of matter within the dragon's head that's reconnecting up the synapses, reconnecting all the brain tissues and the communication pathways. Breathing deeply. Allowing the transient points to open, and then we've got a stream of light codes going in and updating the male structure. And clearing the imprints of confusion, the imprints of kind of loss of awareness, the loss of mental faculties, which then would ultimately later on down the line go into abuse models and attack models because it's unconsciously being controlled. And we're just going to go ahead and claim back the space, claim back the territories here. For the light. clearing the confusion, clearing the pain. Expanding out, inhale, exhale, and intercepting with the aurora, which is then interfacing within this memory that's presenting of the Amethyst Order headquarters being taken over by the negative. And that headquarters was a plan for how we can, the positive plan behind that was for developing the trajectory of man, let's say, and how the evolution process can go and the kind of genetic process can go for the better. Whereas these negative forces came in and kind of obliterated the star system, took control of the headquarters and started to override their plans with something negative that Diamasmana Okoriata Ashna Akia, with the aurora interfacing in. We're seeing the reclamation process of that and the rehabilitation of the constellation, which is engaging the next phase of the energetic highways, linking consciousness pathways or interstar ley lines. I want to call them interstellar ley lines, to be honest, that link the stars together, transmitting information. This is going through a liquid light rehabilitation of matter to reproduce or reconstruct the ley line structures, which has already been done, but it's being done again within the next phasing of that. And that is then being downloaded into your own amethyst architecture. Solar plexus updating, and just sitting with that for a moment. Now, the next thing I'm seeing is a resequencing of transmission between the Amethyst Order HQ and the Emerald Order HQ, which is transmitting and receiving the signals of security and safety, which the Emerald Order HQ holds within a different constellation, within a I forgot the name of the style of star, but it's like a kind of a major star point. It feels like it's in relation to the family of Michael, the Yamosmana Okura, or around that area. Rigel, Yamasma Okura. I think it's in the Leo constellation. That's where I'm being drawn to anyway. Which is then transmitting and receiving the signal between the two HQs and creating a mother arc, father arc bond between the two stations, which is then opening out, creating a double twin caduceal flow to the Earth core. Stabilizing the Hara line and the planetary Ida Pingala nadis, which is then interfacing through the planetary chakra system. Developing into subatomic ranges and updating dark matter templates that on Yamato sana Yagacheni Yagura. So allow that to transfer and breathe nicely as all this fear just starts to break away. As mother-father architecture interfaces, releasing of self-doubt and insecurity, taking no ownership of that as we build in trust. Nice deep breaths, just being completely present with the star code signaling as this is transferring. And then what I'm seeing coming in are streams, really gorgeous streams of vertical light codes that are being transmitted into the planetary stuff. Interfacing with the multiple levels actually, but predominantly connecting with the elemental layers and the elemental bridges. So we're just going to sit here at the elemental layer and just observe the reconstruction, which is presented as multiple layers of geometry that's just kind of turning itself inside out and through and through. Repetition to release, release, release. And within the release pulses, or the kaleidoscopic release pulses, it's effectively delineating out black light matter, Masonic symbolism, false light architecture, and then going in deeper reversal Templar constructs and Baphomet signatures. Holding presence and just witness observer, even if it gets a bit scary, just call to light the divine to create buoyancy as we witness observe the delineation of the Baphomet networks. Black tar elemental reversal currents and entity structures that have looped through and attached into elemental matter, flashing with re-encryption of auroric impulses, as well as these staff codes that rehabilitate the vertical axis. High levels of fear, just moving through the body, through the high heart, looking for a reaction which we're not going to give. We are going to continue to stay in love and gratitude because we understand that the process that is happening is a delineation. And in order to delineate, it must be felt through, seen through, and reordered. The reaction creates further fractures and allows more of the fear to get in. Okay, really gorgeous. I'm just going to see yourself walking into a forest glade. And as we move into the forest glade, it's like the forest around us is speaking through my God, reverberation of sound tones and the nature spirits. And what we've also got coming through the canopy of the forest is light fractals from the sun, the type that you would capture on film if you were to hold the camera in a specific way. You may see spheres of light coming up and rays of light coming through. This is the imagery that's coming in here. And what we are seeing within this space is bringing the elemental kingdom to the forefront. As the light rays pour in, the more of the kingdom presents itself. And also presents its trauma as that comes up to the surface, rejuvenates. And heals as the families are bathing in the light. Nice, slow inhale, exhale. Taking out any artificial impulses out of the kingdom, out of the animals, out of the consciousness, driven by lunar forces. Once again, reclaiming the space, reclaiming their right to be on the earth, your right to commune with them. The interesting factor of this is the more the pain is being processed, the more charge is being processed, it moves from metaphor to as if we speak to each other in the physical form. It's very interesting to see how clear it can become as the pain of it starts to process out. It goes from like a kind of mixed message, 1,000 message imagery to video still to holographic realm to like I'm talking to you in the physical. And as this is being processed out, turning itself inside out and purifying on every level, the gestalt or higher self expression of the elemental kingdom, which I actually feel like is also a kind of guardian force as well, is then turning into like a Fae queen and king variation. So as they heal, the power goes back to the Fae king queen expression, which sits as the kind of guardian higher self expression. We're going to just fully observe this through, allowing all the light rays to expand back into the kingdom as they express how safe you are to observe freely and how invited you are to observe freely. It takes the attunement to observe. So we're just going to sit and allow the imagery to open and unfold. Coming back to the conscious breath. Breathing deep into the heart, solar plexus, feeling your consciousness anchor in the root and feet to allow the mind to conscious mind to step out of the way and allow the space around you to open up as if translocating into the field as the White Queen takes your hands and inlays an amethyst lilac crystal mother arc symbol into your palms. Feeling the tingling in your palms and the weight of it as you receive it. Her hands touching the outside of your hands across your fingers. And allowing that mother arc symbol code just to immerse and fulfill your light field. Recognizing now that there is no danger to see. There is no danger to feel. It's all a part of the process as you move into the higher harmonic embodiment phase to feel, see, and know what it's like to become the astral archetypal mind and to move freely through it in your physical form, because this is the evolutionary trajectory that we are moving into. Reclaiming union with the earth, elemental spirits, and the elemental spirits of many variation. We're going to expand this out to the water bodies, the water fae, the water angelic, into the earth terrain, the air terrain, the fire terrain, and interlocking through this, we've got a quadrant presentation of the 4 elements, which then at the central point of the Eka, the ether geometry, expanding and connecting into the ether 5th element, which then builds in the elemental quadrant code to interface within our universal Vecca quadrant and universal Vecca Eka, which is then being uploaded to the Ikasha, our full-scale spectrum of the God worlds. Surrendering and accepting the update, accepting the consciousness, accepting the shift, accepting the discomfort here. We just allow and accept. Breathing deeply. This is how it has to be to update the full spectrum of field, the full spectrum of the heart, which now we're starting to feel the good stuff. And the light spectrum around us is going from emerald to yellow gold into pink magenta variation. And the geometries around this are then starting to purge in a kind of holographic three-dimensional field, purging the Eka time rips of black matter cubes that are unraveling within a butterfly wing double quadruple sphere presentation that looks like a flower of black matter purging outwards. And this is the very thing that is purifying the victim victimizer experiments of the Borga, of the tri matrix Diamosma or Kuria Saakia, which I'm probably getting the terminology wrong right now because it's very intense as we process, purge, and heal, releasing out fragmented fleur de lis symbology from the victim victimizer experiment of the Borga matrix. Surrendering and accepting. With joy moving in, bliss moving in, accepting the joy, accepting the bliss, to reconstruct the God wells. Keep on working with that intention of I accept it all. I accept the change. I accept the purge. I accept the discomfort. I accept the histories. I'm accepting absolutely every single bit of this. I'm accepting the pain in my heart, the grief in my heart. I'm accepting the resistance I am feeling. I am accepting all of it. I am not denying it. I am not running away from it. I am accepting every last bit, every last unit of consciousness as a gift for the unified field of one, witness, observer, to allow all to clear in the name of love, in the name of oneness, in the name of humanity. I accept it all. I accept it all. All of the pain stored within the artificial intelligence. I accept it all, allow it to purge, allow it to move. I accept all of the fallen consciousness to be seen, to be felt, to be known. I accept it all. To be reclaimed in the light and love of God. Opalescent light rays, multi-pastel rainbow tones and hues rehabilitate and build through the fracturing, updating the fields, updating the architecture, updating the rips and degeneration of consciousness. I am accepting all variations of polarity. I am accepting all expressions, variations of unity. I am accepting every single variation of fractality, of omnipotency, of omnipresence, of everything. I don't even have words for this, but it just feels like omni. I am accepting omni. No fear, as this is the trajectory into oneness, to the unification with Source. This is why we are doing this. This is why we are here. It's quite amazing, actually. And we're going to bring all of this love, this omni love, into the expression and accept the ability to let go of all that does not serve right here, right now, in this moment. Inhale, exhale, I accept the ability to let go. I accept the ability to see clearly now as to why we are doing this plan, why we are following this. The divine purpose of universal unification, omniversal unification, multiversal unification. Thank you for showing me. We're going to bring that state back down into the body. Not that we left the body, we're just going to bring it into the body from what is around us and where we have been experiencing that. Because there's a belief system that's running there that it's separate from us. So we're just going to take that belief system out, dissolve, release, and move the consciousness down from separation to integration. I'm going to go ahead, update through all fields, update through all localized grids, or through all gates. Inhale, exhale, recode, release, and seal. Update through the breath of the Unisi. Thank you all so much for joining today. Lots of love.